Hey, this is Dr. Wander.
I'm Dr. Miller.
And we just did this webinar, and we had our little picture in the corner where we could do the webinar and you could see our picture at the same time, but then we lost the picture.
It works so hard.
So I don't know, we had it, and we did it, and then we lost it. So I don't know what happened. So what we're doing is making this little intro video, because if you've never met or seen us before, which is hard to believe, but if you've never met or seen us before, then we wanted you to see our faces, because you're going to hear our voices on the webinar. So I'm Dr. Wander, and this is
Dr. Miller.
And enjoy the webinar.
Hi, I'm Dr. Miller.
And I'm Dr. Wander.
And we're coming to you from Rockville Medical and Disc Center. And what we're going to be talking about today is the program that helped me go from what you see on the left to what you see on the right. It's a program called Ideal Protein. And in the program, I dropped 30 pounds in 10 weeks. I dropped 16.5% body fat. I went up 6% in hydration and 6% in muscle.
And in about 10 weeks, I lost 30 pounds. And more importantly, I went from a size 38 waist to a 32 waist and started to fit into clothes that I had when I was in high school. So here's our story.
Okay, so when I basically have struggled with weight my whole life. So from about the age of 13, I was pretty much the weight you see on the left. And about a year ago, someone came into our office and she started telling me about a program that helped her drop 30 pounds in 7 weeks. Prior to the program, she was working out every day. So she went into the gym very early in the morning. She was eating a balanced diet. She did everything right. And after 1 year, she had dropped 7 pounds. So that was pretty frustrating for her, and she came across a program called Ideal Protein, and in doing the program, she dropped 30 pounds in 7 weeks, and looking at her, you would never know that she had ever had an issue with weight. So she started telling me the science behind why the program works, and I fell in love with it. So once you have good results, you want to share it, and that's why we've brought it into our office.
Hi, I'm Kurt, and I joined the IP program a week ago yesterday, and I weighed in at 221 pounds, and after a week on the IP program, I'm now down to 210, and I've also dropped from a 38 waist pants to a 36 size pants, and my goal is to make it down to my 34s, and it might take a couple more weeks, but that's my goal. I'm not finding myself hungry as I used to be. I'm not exercising yet, but the weight is dropping off. So with that, I'm going to stick with my program.
So today we're going to be going over the program. Now, highlights of the program. On the program, women typically lose 3 to 4 pounds per week. Guys usually lose 4 to 7. These results are without exercise. And it's a meal program. So meals are around $5 a meal. Now, typically you can't even eat over at like McDonald's or out at all for around less than $5 a meal. So this is a program that will actually replace a lot of your grocery costs. And these are lasting results. So 70% are within 5 pounds 1 year after completing the program.
And I've been doing the Ideal Protein program for about 4.5 months, and I've lost somewhere between 30 and 40 pounds and dropped, I think, 2 to 3 clothing sizes. And it's wonderful, and it's working, and I feel great, and I'm very happy about it.
Now, the first thing I want to talk about is something called a paradigm. And if I say paradigm, what do you guys think of? What does that mean to you? And a paradigm is typically a method of thinking about something. So if I had to ask you what the paradigm is on weight loss in this country, like how do you lose weight, what do you think? Well, the most common answer that we get is eat right and exercise. So you have to eat less and become more active, exercise more. So let's take a look at something. In 1985, the Centers for Disease Control, they wanted to gather information about weight because they noticed that people were getting bigger and they wanted to gather more information. So this is what the map looked like in 85, and if you look at the states that are clear, there's no data about the state at that time. But the higher concentration of obesity in that state, you can see the concentrations on the bottom of the screen, and the darker the number and the closer you get to burgundy, the higher the concentration of obesity. And I'm not talking about wanting to lose a couple of pounds, I mean actually obese. So that's 85. 87, 89, 91, 93, 95, 7, 9, 2001, so we've added a new color to the map, and now 2003, 5, 7, and 2008. So if you notice, if it's a burgundy state, again, that's greater than 30% of the population in that state is obese. And there has to be a different solution than what we've got, because if that whole eat right and exercise thing were right, we wouldn't be getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And there has to be a solution besides just moving to Colorado. So what is it? Well, let's look at a few programs first. Now, as it comes down to health and weight, if you have more than 2 of these things, central obesity, high blood cholesterol, high blood pressure, or insulin resistance, that means that it's now been labeled as something called Syndrome X. So weight can absolutely have an impact on health. Well, a lot of people know that, but they're trying to lose weight and they're not really successful. So let's look at a few different options. Now, the first thing a lot of people resort to is the low-calorie or low-fat diet. Now, you may have been on Weight Watchers, Jenny Craig, tried the different programs out there that are low-fat. Here's the problem with that. Typically, on these programs, you're going to lose muscle, which is going to slow the metabolism down. And what happens if you slow the metabolism down? Your body basically thinks that you're in starvation mode. It gets used to what you're feeding it, and you'll come out the other end. What do you think? You think you'll feel better or worse? Now, a lot of people coming out the other end of these programs, they might have dropped a few pounds, but typically their energy is not good, and they don't feel well because they've, again, lost muscle. And what happens once you come off the program? Well, most people put all the weight back. So that's one of the most common options that people resort to. The next one is exercise. So working out, going to the gym, doing as much as you can to get more active. Now, exercise is fantastic, but when it comes to losing weight, it's not always the best option. And here's why. In order to lose a pound, that's the equivalent of 3,500 calories. Well, if you're using exercise to lose weight, that's the equivalent of running a marathon. So 1 pound, 3,500 calories is running a marathon. So if you're trying to lose 2 pounds a week, would you actually want to run a marathon every couple of days to get those 2 pounds off? Probably not. And extreme exercise, or even exercising a lot of people, they end up actually injuring themselves and creating more physical problems for themselves. We don't want that. Now, the next, probably most common option that people are resorting to now is the concept of a balanced diet. So by definition, balance means same in and same out. So you eat a certain amount, and it's supposed to be a balance between all the different things out there. But the problem is the body gets used to what you're feeding it, and the metabolism just slows down to whatever you're giving it. So by definition, a balanced diet means that you're going to be the same. Now let's talk about high protein. And if I say high protein, what's the #1 program that comes to your mind? It's typically Atkins. Now, the whole purpose of cutting down carbs is to get the body into a state of ketosis. Now, ketosis basically means a state of fat burning. And that's when you're trying to lose weight, that's typically what people are trying to do. They're trying to lose body fat. Well, when it comes to just high protein or the Atkins approach, it's very high in saturated fat. There's no regard to behavior or portion control. It also promotes acidity. And when I say acidity, think pain. So a lot of people can have problems with this type of diet, and there's not a lot of variety. So typically once the person comes off of it, they're not feeling so hot either. Now, the whole goal of doing low carb or doing the high protein approach is to spare muscle and get the body into burning fat. Now, ketosis or fat burning is often confused with ketoacidosis, which means that the body goes into an acidic state. And this is something totally different. This is not the goal of our program, and it's not what you're looking for. That's actually a dangerous condition, but it is to be distinguished between ketosis or just fat burning. We're wanting to get the body into burning fat.
Hi, my name is Lou, and I've been doing Ideal Protein since January. It's late March right now, so about 3 months. And when I started, I was at 165. Right now I'm at 139, which I'm very happy with, but I'm still going. What I like best about the diet is the fact that I work in retail, and it's nice to have something I don't have to cook. I can just add my vegetables, that's it, and not have to worry about the hassle. It's very convenient. And I like the fact that I get weekly weigh-ins with my nutrition facts and hydration, so I know where I am. And Dr. Miller has always been accommodating with my retail schedule and my changing appointment time. So overall, a very good experience. I've done a lot of diets before, and I have had one other diet that has worked, but this one has definitely lost the most weight. And I hopefully will be able to keep it off too afterwards.